Father Ripperger is incorrect about yoga. And I bring it up because he has misled through an irresponsible statement that he hasn't fact-checked. He's led many people astray, and now many people are saying and repeating things that aren't true. Specifically, he says that all poses in yoga are named after Hindu gods. All poses in yoga are named after Hindu gods. Now that is 100% factually incorrect. It is not true at all. My name is Bryan Mercier, the president of Catholic Truth, and I'm so glad you're here. We want to help you to know your faith, learn your faith, love it, and be set on fire for it, and even be able to explain and defend it. A lot of people have gotten upset at me for saying this, and to be fair, many high influencers, good Catholic influencers, have repeated this myth. That's just not true. And I repeated this myth for many years. In fact, when I started writing my book, Counterfeit Spirituality on the New Age movement, I have a whole chapter on yoga. And when I studied this, I studied it on and off for 10 years, for a decade. And that was my favorite argument. It was a conversation ender. I mean, if all poses in yoga are dedicated to false gods, conversation over. Catholics can't practice yoga. And so I just was like, this is great. I'm going to go research it. And I just need one good citation, one good historical, factual citation. And day after day, week after week, month after month, I looked up all of the citations on every Catholic who claimed it that I could find. And not a single Catholic anywhere ever, not even once, they never quoted a single source. They never cited anything whatsoever, which really was scary because so many people were repeating this and there's no citations or proof for it whatsoever. And I couldn't find anything to substantiate the point. I said, wow, like after a year, I was like, maybe I'm going to have to just get rid of this point. So I started reading many secular yoga books, just written by yoga practitioners, yoga masters, and I wanted to see what they had to say. Not only did it not confirm that point, it disproved that point again and again and again. There's nobody who has done research on this topic that can argue for this point because there is no evidence for it. One lady in particular really got me to look at this deeper because she was donating to Catholic Truth. She's a monthly donor. She's a monthly patron, and she stopped giving because I had mentioned this a long time ago. And she said, Father Ripperger said that they're dedicated. You're going to disagree with Father Ripperger? And she got mad at me for it, and she ended up just walking away. And so I said, well, Father Ripperger said it. Well, let me see what he has to say. Maybe he has the secret link that I've missed for 10 years. And I watched his video. The only proof that he had was that somebody who practiced yoga told him so. So someone told him so. And that was literally all I found for 10 years. He said, she said, he said. Well, this person, most people just repeated it. And most people didn't cite anything. But if anybody cited it, it was, oh, somebody told them so. Did you fact check it though, Father? Did you actually look it up, Father Ripperger? And before I dig into him a little bit, let me just say that I like him. I think he's a good priest. I think he says a lot of good things, and I think he's done a lot of solid work, but he's incorrect on this topic, and I hope that he retracts it, because I've studied this topic for years and years, and I've read countless books, and I've read countless websites, and countless articles, and watched countless videos, and more, and I know that this isn't true, and people question me like, oh, you think you know more than Father Ripperger? Well, yeah. About exorcism? Definitely not. But about yoga? Absolutely, because I've done the research for a decade. How many books has he read? How many books have you read? When people bring this up to me and they question me, I say, ask them how many books they've read on the topic. I have many books. We have B.K.S. Iyengar. We have, most of these are yoga masters, yoga practitioners. If you need more books, I have them. I have lots of books. I even have this book, B.K.S. Iyengar, he is probably one of the most authoritative yoga practitioners, writers, and philosophers in the history of yoga. He's definitely one of the biggest names in the last 2 centuries. He's one of the biggest pioneers of yoga. He says that there are a few poses named after Hindu gods, but most of the poses are named after people, after animals and after things in nature. The vast majority of all poses are named after things in nature, or people or animals and things like that, which is, I guess, nature. Very few of them are named after gods or dedicated to gods in any way. So to say that all poses in yoga are named after Hindu gods, you can't substantiate that with anything. There's nothing to substantiate that with. All of the names of the poses which we have are not named after gods. I mean, you have the warrior pose. You have the fish pose. You have the mountain pose. A mountain pose. This is just after a mountain, standing as straight as you can like a mountain. You have the warrior pose, which is, or you have downward dog. I mean, unless you're worshiping a dog, downward dog. I mean, that is not named after a god. It's not dedicated to a god. No, I'm not advocating for any of these. I'm not advocating for these. The fact that some are named after Hindu gods is problematic enough, but we don't want to be irresponsible, and we don't want to say things that aren't true. So we don't, especially as Catholics, we don't want to repeat things that aren't true. And to say that all poses are named after Hindu gods is just not true, and we need to stop saying it. And that goes for people at the top. And I hope that Father Ripperger will retract that statement unless he can give some verifiable proof, which I would love to see. But it's just not true. And nobody believes that. And no one in the yoga world believes that. In fact, poses and exercises and naming the exercises didn't come from Hinduism, and it didn't come from yoga. It preceded yoga, and it came by other means of physical fitness like Danish or medical gymnastics, for example, or Swedish gymnastics, where they used to name the poses of the gymnastics. And yoga appropriated those and put them into yoga at a much kind of recent date. So those were never there from the beginning. That's something that yoga added on later on. Most of these exercises didn't even come from yoga. They came from Swedish gymnastics, Danish gymnastics, medical gymnastics, the YMCA calisthenics, contortionism, bodybuilding, and many other things. But we have other videos going into the depth of the history of yoga. But the bottom line is, please, people, do not say things that aren't true. Stop being emotional, please, on these topics. Don't just gravitate to something because somebody said it and you feel strongly about it. Is there evidence? What's the proof? Just because someone of high profile says something doesn't mean it's true if they can't back it up with actual facts and evidence to substantiate their claim. If you would like to look up the names of the poses themselves, you'll see that they're not named after Hindu gods. And the fact that a few are, I mean, that yoga is problematic enough. I mean, Catholics should not be practicing yoga because the philosophy of yoga and the philosophy of Christianity are incompatible. They contradict each other. And what yoga stands for and the goals and the aims and the history of yoga is at odds of Christian spirituality. And we don't want anything dedicated or named to Hindu gods, no matter how many there are. That's why we always say that Catholics can't practice yoga in a yoga class or yoga setting because you never know what kind of spirituality you're going to get there. But the bottom line is, they aren't all named after Hindu gods. That's just not true. We have to stop repeating it, and we have to tell other people to stop repeating it. If you like this video and you found it helpful, then please share it with others, and please share the information within it to others, because it's an important topic that needs to be undone. There's been a lot of things about yoga that just aren't true because people haven't done the research. They've heard things, they've repeated them, but they haven't done the research on them. And we have two other videos on yoga if you would like to go deeper on these topics, which we will link below. If you would like a talk on the New Age movement, one on yoga, Reiki, centering prayer, or anything else, please bring us to your church, your group. We'd love to give a talk on any or all of these topics. You can check us out at catholictruth.org. You can also see we have about 800 articles on our website there being translated into different languages from around the world. And it's amazing. We're trying to have one of the largest databases in the world on our Catholic Truth website. So if you love what we do and you love the fact that we are reaching the world for Christ and you want us to keep bringing people home and keep preaching the truth, and if we fed you, please give back and help us to feed others. Please support our ministry generously. Please consider giving $50 or $100 a month. We need many monthly donors because we are growing so fast and we're expanding this organization. And if you would like to see us grow and to reach so many more people, then jump on board and partner with us. If you can only give $25 or even $15 a month, we would love that. We would love to have you as part of our team in saving souls and changing lives for Christ. God bless.